calling all millionaires and future millionaires. Welcome to Go to Millions. I'm Ari Murray. Nice to meet you. This is go-to-market strategy for the big dogs. Woof, woof. Sit back, relax, or go get your steps, or add stuff to your cart. That's 100% what I recommend you do. Whatever you do, please pay close attention to these million-dollar ideas from the biggest and baddest operators and founders in the entire world. Off we go. On this virtual event that we pre-recorded, you're going to hear me talk to one of my very good friends, Jazz Fenton. Her story is incredible. She went from Shopify employee to founder to UX UI designer for the biggest brands in the world to founder again. And she is just such an inspiration to me on a personal and professional level. And her brand, Yellow Beauty, is one of the only things I put on my face. I reorder it. And as a true friend, I never order it on discount because that's not what you do. So you will love buying Yellow Beauty. You will love listening to Jazz, and your face will thank you. Off we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I love how smart indie brands are about creating the best experience for their customers. A mobile-first approach is the best way of getting those folks coming back for more. To create a seamless mobile experience, you need an app for your Shopify store. And I recommend using Tapcart to launch your app and drive retention. Visit tapcart.com/millions to get started. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Ari. This is Go to Millions. Today, you're going to meet a really amazing person. Her name is Jazz Fenton. She's a senior UX UI designer by day and my coworker. And by night, she runs Yellow Beauty, my favorite indie beauty brand / skincare brand in the entire world. Tell us everything. Hi, Jazz. Nice to see you.
Hi. How are you?
Amazing. Well, this has been a long time coming. Jazz is for sure running the skincare brand that touches my face the most. So that's always a blessing when it happens to be your friend's brand.
That's amazing. I mean, first, I want to say thanks for having me, especially on your birthday week, because this is a very important week for you.
Thank you. I wish I was sad you brought that up, but I love you for it. It's maybe the Aries in me, but it's a lot. Okay, well, we'll get right to it. But how did you get into this industry, and was it intentional? Did you fall into it? How did it happen?
In terms of the whole Yellow Beauty story, it was kind of an accident, but also intentional. So I was working at Shopify at the time, and everyone's kind of encouraged to start their own store. A lot of people don't, because obviously it's like a lot of time, but just to kind of like get in the heads of the users and like empathize with what they're going through. So I knew that I wanted to do it. So I started a store, started one product with my husband. He's from Bangladesh. His family is from Bangladesh. So he grew up using turmeric on his skin. So we decided, why not just make one product? We had, I think, $1,000 and like a really small credit card. And we just like wanted to try and do it at home. So we started at home, started mixing up some products. We had like the most basic packaging. I think it was just like a paper bag with a sticker on it. And the biggest thing was like, we just wanted to get it out there. So that's where I'm saying it wasn't intentional. We didn't have a plan.
You weren't like practicing about it. You just did it.
No. Yeah, we didn't have a plan. We just had like the one product, and we just started an Instagram account, and it just kind of took off from there. Luckily, it was a time when turmeric was just starting to trend. It was in 2016. So no skincare brands, at least in the Western world, were using it at that time. So it was kind of this almost shock that people were like, oh my God, this like bright yellow thing on your face, doesn't it stain? There was a lot of like conversation and controversy around it, which really accelerated the brand. And then we were just suddenly in the skincare industry and had to figure it out as we went along.
Well, and even just like the name Yellow Beauty, like if you think of a brand name that you're like, oh, that's like a big brand, that's going places. And even when I was like looking up the link just to like have it here in my notes, there's no like weird dash in the handle. It's just Yellow Beauty. Like it's such a perfect dome. It's yellowbeauty.com. We're not even in .co territory. So you know that we're early. You know, it went well early.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the reasons too, like we just wanted it to be really obvious what it was. So just like straight to the point and just, yeah, what do you think of when you think of turmeric? Yellow. So that's how it was.
It's really the best name ever. So let's rewind. So what was the first job you took in this space and what was the experience? So obviously you were at Shopify, but what was before Shopify? And then how did we even get to Shopify?
I did English lit in school, so it was like completely different. And I just started getting more like communications jobs during that time, like right out of school. And I also did co-op during university. So I was doing a lot of like, it kind of married itself with web. I was doing a lot of like web writing. And then I actually got a job at a company that was all about promoting STEM careers to youth and like getting them into tech. And I was like, hey, I want to do that. So I ended up going back to school for a year when I was 23. It was like a fast track program that did everything from like design, photography, videography, front end development, some back end development, which no, not for
You say no, you say that, but we'll have an emergency and you're just like, oh, I can get in there. I can get in the code just a little bit. It's like actually a shock. So you still learned a lot.
Yeah, like the front end stuff I really, really like. And I actually did quite a bit of it when I was at Shopify. I was kind of like half design and then I was doing front end for a little bit. But the back end stuff, I'm like, that goes over my head. But yeah, like after that program, I kind of knew in my head, being from Ottawa, that's where Shopify is headquartered. And I just had this thing. I was like, I'm going to get a job there. And I remember one of my profs at the time was really salty about Shopify because he had a few interviews and didn't get it. And I remember he was very like, no one can get a job there. And I was like, no, watch me. I watch me. Yeah. And then I applied. And luckily at the time they were looking for more junior people and like really just kind of right out of school because they were smaller back then. I think there was around maybe like 600 people when I joined. So it was a lot smaller and they were looking for that. So it kind of worked in my favor that I was able to scoot in the door right out of school.
Even when I met you, because like to anyone that's in e-com, someone who works at Shopify, it's like you're the crown jewel of the world. And so you're like, oh, like, yeah, she used to work at Shopify. I was like, oh, she's going to have to work here. Like, that's amazing. But I think it's crazy. So you were at Shopify and then Yellow Beauty sprung up because of the support of Shopify. And then like, what is your day like now? So what you're currently working on at night and on the weekends. And I know you have so much on your plate. So what's like a typical Yellow Beauty schedule for you?
I'm kind of in an in-between phase because I am completely redoing the website. I was working on it full-time for about 5 years. So this is definitely a transition to be working full-time at another job and then having it on the side. So there's been a lot of kind of like reworking how I'm doing things, kind of trying to get some help from some other people and just like putting it a little bit more on autopilot so I don't have to be doing everything all the time. I'm still shipping, so I'll wake up early sometimes to fulfill orders. But other than that, in the day, working at Sharma Brands, doing all that good stuff. And then evenings and weekends. I mean, normally on Sunday, I like to have my work day on a Sunday and just like go to a coffee shop, get all my stuff done. But yeah, it's pretty low key now. But I think once I get the new site up and kind of start to ramp things up a little bit, we'll see how I balance things, but I'm confident.
To me, like your website is a really like, it's an example website. So I can't wait to see it or V2. I know this is probably V5, but like to me, like because it's your brand and because you know so much about like web dev and design and like UX, to you, it's not like what it needs to be. But to me, I look at it, I was like, oh, like that works for me. Like I shop it. So it works for me. So back to you being the best at UX UI, because you are. What makes for a great website and digital experience to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is trying to get into the user's shoes. So take away any context you might have and think if someone lands here for the first time, how are they going to navigate through this journey? So I think for e-commerce in particular, I hear so many brands or founders that'll say the story behind the brand. And then you look at the site and you're like, I didn't get any of that from the homepage. So I think, yeah, just kind of removing that context and thinking of yourself as like a brand new person who's trying to learn about this brand or this product and then designing from there.
we see that a lot because we do get like the full deep story. Most brands, if someone's like taken an initiative to start their own company and to do something, there's normally like a really cool reason, or there's like an ingredient that they believe in, like turmeric, or they have this experience from Shopify. Like there could be like all these really cool parts of their story, but if like the customer can't tell, but on your website, like I already knew the story because it's like really clearly told. And like the ingredients and like the history and like the culture of it all is really clearly presented, and it's woven not just in the about page, but it's like within PDP, it's within homepage. So I think the site's really great. So I really can't wait to see you too. But it's definitely telling that story to me. Even smaller D2C brands can create amazing customer experiences. You just need the right tools. Your customers deserve a smooth mobile experience. Creating a beautiful app is an awesome retention tool because you can engage with your community instantly. They'll love it. And you don't need all of them to hit download. Even 5% of your biggest fans jumping on board will make a serious difference to your bottom line. If you're on Shopify, I seriously recommend you take a look at tapcart.com today. If you could recommend one piece of media, it could be a podcast, someone to follow, or a brand you look up to, for the millionaires to consume that would help them level up, what would you choose?
I think in the skincare space specifically, Coco Kind is a really good brand to look up to for all things community. If you go on their Instagram, just like, they're just a brand I really look up to because of their transparency. They're really upfront with all their customers, and they just put out content that makes you feel like you're part of what they're doing, like part of the entire journey. And they just have really good content ideas to kind of go off of. So I think, yeah, they're a very good brand that I look up to.
And then where do you find design inspiration? Because you're on all sides of design. You're doing like UX, UI, digital design. You're doing packaging design, like product design. Where do you find inspo to stay fresh?
Design inspo is everywhere. So I feel like definitely drawing from other brands. Pinterest is obviously a massive one, but I think like in real life is one that a lot of people overlook for web design, just like looking at, even like interior design, or I mean, for packaging, I love going into the actual stores and seeing them and seeing just like how it displays on the shelf and how it kind of pops out in an actual retail space. So yeah, I think it's like design is everywhere.
Do you have any yellow beauty on you? I know I'm ambushing you, but can you have to show the packaging. It's such good packaging. Sorry, this was not planned, but I really like, this is exactly what I'm saying when like this brand is like the best brand ever.
I mean, I did it recently, but yeah, here's like,
see, like it would stop you in a store.
Yeah, here's golden arrowware. This is our cleanser, and then I have our toner as well. But yeah, our packaging was not like this for a long time, and there's been many iterations. But I think, yeah, just making it really stand out and easy to see. But also, I feel like, especially in the skincare space and the beauty space, there's a lot of really busy packaging as well. So sometimes if you tone it down a little bit, like minimalism also stands out. So it's like an interesting balance to strike for sure.
Well, I think yellow beauty feels and looks really expensive. And then it's like not overly priced at all. But to me, like when I see it, I would think it was like $300 for the moisturizer. Like it feels like it's elevated. And I think that's because you've toned it into like it's even like a very specific yellow. It's a specific cream. Like there's just like a lot of attention to the details, and it looks really rich. And it's really good for you again, clearly, because everyone loves it. So that's where you find design inspiration. So Pinterest and in real life. And then what about marketing inspiration? Because you have to market this thing.
I'm going to say TikTok, obviously. That's a big one. Just go on TikTok. You'll just see marketing inspo forever. But yeah, I think also I like to subscribe to a lot of brands' email lists, and just, I think that's a great way to get inspo every day, just to your inbox. And yeah, I think that's how I keep up to date. Email and social.
TikTok is a good one. I feel like you could train your algorithm to either be good for you or bad for you. And yours sounds like this productive, so that's good.
Yeah, sometimes. There's also a lot of dogs, a lot of puppies.
Are you on Capybara TikTok? Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
For feeling dog talk is a segue into I think I said it wrong. Capybara. I'm not sure.
I think it's perfect. Yeah.
I only went when it was last week, and then now I'm in this like rabbit hole. We should add that emoji to Slack.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, after.
On it.
And then for Yellow Beauty and then just in websites in general, how do you think about balancing form and function when you're designing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another reason, obviously, why I'm completely redoing my website, because I think as nice as it was when I had done it, I think like 5, maybe 3 years ago, there's just so many things that I've learned, especially working with you at Sharma Brands. Like, there's just so many little pieces that I missed. I think of the function as more of kind of like all the little pieces. If you just skin it down to a wireframe, like all the pieces that are on the page that help with that journey. And then in terms of like the actual visuals, your assets are number one. Like you can have an amazing UX design and like an amazing flow, but if you don't have the assets that kind of speak to your brand and communicate that, it's just going to fall flat. So I think video is really, really key as well to like get that message across really, really, really quickly. And then when you pair the two together, it's just perfect. But yeah.
No, I cannot wait to see. And I think even since I've discovered Yellow Beauty, you have added video and like there's been like real like small tweaks.
Yes. It's like a few tweaks, but I'm saving the big one.
If you're here into like a video, like it can change how it just levels it up. So we're choosing motion on websites.
Yes.
And then as marketers, and especially as UX UI designers, as only one of us is, you're only as good as your tech stack. So how do you think about evaluating new tech or apps you add to Yellow Beauty?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, because I'm really bootstrapped, I have to be very careful about what apps I use. And it's so easy to just like keep adding things and get carried away. And obviously that can also slow your site speed down and all of that. So I think for me, just like evaluating what's going to move the needle the most. So for example, I invest probably the most in my email marketing platform. So I use Klaviyo. So that's like kind of a big chunk, but I know that I need that. And then all the other pieces, I'm just very, very careful. And I do go into my library a lot and will like just cleanse and eliminate because it can definitely get carried away. But I think the big ones like email and anything that's like just that will actually move the needle and moves like actual revenue is the most important. Yeah.
True. I love that. And I think too, like as you're bootstrapped or as you're building a brand from like A to B, for me, like I always see something on a website I like, and it might be a website that has like millions of transactions a month. And I was like, oh, like we should do that. But sometimes it's not the right stage. And it's like that works best if it's custom devved and custom designed. And so sometimes it's like, this is for future state. And then for now, what do we need? Which I think Yellow Beauty site, it's not lacking anything. And then like imagine in 5 years when it's on everyone's beauty calendar, like how crazy your website's going to be. It's going to be wild.
One of the pieces that I'm going to add just in the new site is subscription because I haven't done that. I think that's like a big thing that I've just been missing. And I've just been for some reason afraid to add it. I don't know why, but I'm just going to bite the bullet and start doing that. So that's another one that I'm like, okay, this is actually going to improve sales and like recurring revenue. So it's worth it.
And I can't wait because I always get too far down and then has to travel to me and then my skin looks bad. So the cleanser, is that one going to be on subscription?
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Keep me posted. And the toner. Okay.
Yes.
I need a lot. Okay. I love that. And then online shopping happens on our phones. And so how are you thinking about yellowbeauty.com as a mobile experience?
I think with any design, like you always need to design desktop and mobile as their own piece. So they can obviously inform each other, but I think having the separate experience is key. And I think for mobile, again, like we're talking about with video, I think it's so important to incorporate video, especially on mobile, simply because now everyone is like, that's how people are consuming on their phones. They're so used to short form video and like attention span is so hard to get.
Yeah.
So I think adding video again in your hero is just like a way to get someone to stick around and like absorb what your brand is really, really quickly. So yeah, I think video's king.
Love that. And you really do design everything mobile first. And for us, like, it's because that's where we know the first like hit of traffic is. So it couldn't matter more. And then when you think about CX and the journey of being a Yellow Beauty customer, and we're only as happy as we can keep our best customers, how do you think about retention and keeping someone like within the fold of Yellow Beauty? I think you mentioned subscription, which I think is a really good idea. But outside of that,
honesty is huge. If ever there's a mistake with shipping or a package is lost or someone has like not a great reaction or whatever the case is, like I think just being honest and transparent and like giving the customer what they want will go a long way. So yeah, I think just like not holding anything back and just letting people know that you are a person too and you're just like spreading this business that you started and that you're just trying to do your best. So yeah,
I love that.
honest is key.
I love that. Okay, a fun question. At Go to Millions, we're big shoppers. Do you have anything on your wish list or something you recently bought? I know we both want the Sneg fridge, but outside of our dreams.
I forgot about that because that's like an end goal dream that I've kind of started to forget about because I don't know if it's possible. But
no, we can't think like that.
I know.
It's like way.
It's not practical, but I want it. But I think, I'm moving into a new house soon. So I'm like all about like furniture is in my brain. So I want like everything, but I think I want a standing desk. I think you have one, right?
I do. I don't stand enough, but I do.
I just need it because I'm just sitting way too often. So I think I want a cool standing desk, but something with like a wood top. So if you have any ideas and if any ship to Canada, you have to let me know.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out. Watch me tonight at midnight, send you a list. You're going to regret that. And then last question to you. When you think about how you got your start, is there one person that you would want to thank?
In terms of my start into this space, like into design and just like the whole tech world and now e-com, it's actually funny. My mom did the same course that I did when I went back to school for that year.
At the same time?
She did it when it like first came out and she was using like floppy disks to submit her projects and all of that stuff. But it was technically the same program. So yeah, she encouraged me to go back to school and to do that one. So it got me where I am today.
I love that. It's in your blood. It's definitely, you have the touch. Okay, so lastly for you, plug yourself. Tell everyone where they can find Yellow Beauty and also your single favorite product.
Okay. Yellowbeauty.com. So super easy. And then at Yellow Beauty on Instagram. I think TikTok, it's Yellow Beauty Co. because, it got scooped up. But Yellow Beauty most places. And then my favorite product, the Stay Gold Elixir, is like an all-purpose product that just works for everyone and is my all-time fave. And now the toner. Toner is like 100%. Spray it everywhere and anywhere. I even use it sometimes like as just like a room spray. Just like I need the smell.
I spray it like under my makeup and then I'll be like at my desk and I'll just feel frazzled and I'll just go to my bathroom, like spray my face.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't affect your makeup, but it just feels like you just like are back. So
yeah, like you kind of use it as a setting spray as well. So it's like all purpose. Yeah.
That's why I go through it so quickly. It's like my stress ball. Like
yeah, exactly.
Okay, well I feel like you have mastered indie beauty, so you're a good gut check for me when I'm thinking about like what should I put on my face. So I'll be sending you more questions. And then that is it. You are amazing. Thank you everyone for being here, and I will see you at our next meeting, probably in like 15 minutes. But yeah. All right. Everyone go buy Yellow Beauty. It is the best thing ever. All right. Thanks everyone. Be well.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. It was a pleasure talking with you. Keep up to date with Go to Millions by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. And if you learned something with us here today, tell a friend for me, will ya? Thank you again, and let's chat soon. Bye!